Alright guys, I played a couple of games today, including a few where I accidentally queued ranked instead of unranked, and it's the new map I want to look at. Almost picked one of them for you to watch. I'm on a Reaper. The specific Reaper build that I'm playing right now is actually a bit of a mess, to tell you the truth. It's a GS build that's on Lyssa runes, which I still like the combo, but I guess I won't get into the build craft. It's a little bit messy. I did play a couple of staff games recently, but I'm still not convinced by it, but it's probably just a playstyle thing at the moment. Anyway, yeah, we're on the new map. We're going to see how it goes. Now, the reason I wanted to queue Reaper today is because of what I mentioned. My first impressions of the map yesterday was that it was quite closed in, and I wanted to see how Reaper felt on a map like this, you know. So, yeah, we are now on the red team for today's video as well. Instead of blue that we were last time, and I don't think I've realized that yet, which is why I'm like being a bit weird going towards close. My thief's decided to pick close up, which I'm quite happy with, because yeah, it's not ideal if he gets across, but he's got the mobility to get the cap quickly and then push mid. So what my weird movement here has actually been kind of nice, because I see that there's a warrior seeking to push far point, and he'll win against my thief, right? So it's what I'm thinking right now. My main job is I'm not even thinking about mid at all. I just don't want this warrior to push far instantly and de-seat my thief. So I come towards him. There's a lot I could talk about rotationally here. There's a lot of really frustrating stuff. My GS I was late with, so then I have to Spectral Grasp to put him back. All this is right now is I'm not really going for a kill. I'm just getting the full cap for the thief, who I'm hoping will notice and then come and plus this down. This warrior is in a terrible position right now, to tell you the truth. He turns around, so I just start unloading pressure. I can't do anything about that full counter because of the Greatsword field, which usually is pretty good. And now he's going to rampage, run away. My thief basically just gets CC'd. I dropped the 5 here. He's in rampage, so it's not going to do anything. But I'm actually hoping for a chill proc, because that will allow me to continue hitting him. And then I make a huge mistake here. I drop out of Shrouds, and I can kill him right now, but I weapon swap as well. I drop out of Shroud and weapon swap because I'm trying to get 2 Axe. I think I have Greatsword underneath because I remember the full counter procking from the field in the moment, but I was already on Axe. So all I needed to do was Axe 2, but I weapon swapped away from Axe 2, and now I don't have the range. The 5 on the Greatsword is a little bit out of range there, and yeah, pretty bad. So now what I'm doing is I'm Spectral Walking, because what I want to do is bomb mid, and then if it looks really dangerous, I can port back out. You're not going to see any great utilization of Spectral Walk in this game, unfortunately. I let it roll out in the end anyway. I see that it's actually a pretty tanky mid engagement. So here, I've got Shroud, and I could push in and do damage, but patience is the smarter play here, I think. Obviously, there's a lot of fields. There's Shroud, Shade up and stuff. And there's no volatility. What I'm actually looking at right now is the health bars of my allies while just using Axe pressure. And the reason for this is I want to slowly build Shroud with the Axe, so when I do commit to the Shroud, I've got a ton of it. And that helps me defensively, but also to unload more pressure. And I'm just waiting for that moment for them to get softened up a bit more. Don't forget, Axe stacks pretty good vuln as well. So just being patient and staying on the edge here. Even though I have major aggression available, I'm just waiting for it. I use the 3. And now we've got the body down. I use the GS5 and it gets the quad hit, which I'm really happy with. That's a lot of damage when you can get that. And then I'm using my Shroud stuff. So I'm positioning here after the Greatsword 4. So if you Greatsword 4 before Shroud, the Greatsword 4 gets the Death Perception and the Ferocity buffs and stuff. So it's pretty nice. And I'm positioning here because a guy was behind me and I'm trying to just make sure I cleave everything. They're all huddled over the body. We do 20k to the body, 10k to the Reza, and force him away here. He's a 5-round, so he's reasonably tanky here, and he's going to continue sustaining. He gets a good dodge on the GS3. I snag him with the Gravedigg, swap to Axe, which gives me my quickness and stuff back, or refreshes it again. And, yeah, we managed to hammer him down. Here I use the Well of Power just to support this here. I just want to convert some conditions off. Mainly, I'm trying to, if there's poison on the body, it gets rid of that. And if we're really lucky, we might get an Aegis procking out and things like that from that. So, yeah, we noticed that the Mirage went down. I don't know when, but we just do a bit of pressure. And we've won the mid-fight, so this looks pretty good. We even get some reasonable value rotting, and I know that obviously they're going to be respawning and crossing. So that Scourge is crossing over there, and I'm starting to learn the map a bit better. He's going to come through here, right? So I come this way, which also puts me closer to the 1v1 that's going on here. And I watch for the Scourge. What I really want to do is not let this Scourge get on the node. Like, I'm at a crossroads here. I could plus the fight, but I don't want him to get to the node. In the end, the warrior that pushed far was outnumbered there anyway. So the warrior's mistake here is if you're pushing far point, you need to be very aware of mid. And if your team loses mid, you need to be ready to rotate off and, like, play hyper defensive. Basically, he didn't necessarily do anything wrong role-wise coming here. He didn't necessarily do anything wrong in his 1v1, but because he wasn't aware of mid collapsing, because his team was worse than our team, he's now getting snowballed back here, right? And that's always a risk when you're on fire. You need to be able to anticipate that snowball by having the map awareness of node. Very easy, obviously, if you're in comms with people, but, you know, this is unranked. Anyway, so now the Scourge is moving in. We look at his bar to see if he's blood, and he is. So, I mean, the warrior's been cleaved down hard enough anyway that there's not much chance for a transfuse or whatever. So, yeah, we kill that. We let the Mesmer full cap and deal with the body. And now we're looking to reinforce mid. Overall, it's pretty standard. I remember at this point in the game thinking I probably wasn't going to show it. I mean, I'm not giving myself the luxury of playing tons of games a day anyway, so you'll probably see some mediocre stuff. But this was okay. Now, I see that the buff's up, and somebody's channeling the meteor. So, this is what I wanted. I wanted, especially Reaper here. This is where I thought Reaper could be really fun. So I'm against Mirage. Now, Mirage can be pretty goddamn deadly also in close quarters, especially 1v1s and where there's not much haze that cleaves down their clones and stuff. Reaper's pretty good in terms of breaking that stuff through, though. So we'll see how I deal with the 1v1 here. The Mirage opens and hits me very hard straight away. Because essentially what he's done is I think he's popped his Cygnus, Joe. So I got 11 confusion right on the opening. I haven't even been able to do anything yet. So what I don't want to do is cast skills here. So I use one ability. I accidentally auto as well. But I use one ability, and that's the well. And I'm going to stand in the well until my confusion drops off or gets converted. Here on the post commentary, I see it just fell off. The well didn't really help in any way. But anyway, so now that that's gone, I go Shrouds. And look, he tries to LOS behind the pillar, and I just use my Shroud stuff through the pillar. Like, this is exactly what I was envisaging. I was like, okay, this will be good here, right? So, yeah, and we cleave this stuff. He's dodging as he's summoning some of his things, so the Infinite Horizon is allowing them to evade, and I can't break through them. But we're doing okay here. And what he's done now is he's portaled, and he's fleeing. So, I see the portal. Now, this is a really weird play to me, mainly because I don't know the map. But the Mesmer has two choices right now. One, he can reset out there. I don't know how far away this is from the real map, but I'm assuming he's far enough that he'll break combat once that bleed drops off, or if he can rip it in any way. So what he could either try and combat break, get 100% and come back in, particularly from stealth or something, or he could just let me have this and portal in here next time the buff is up. He's even got the potential of porting in here when the lamp isn't available, and it's like the ultimate safety for him. He'll never die. You know, that's the, you know, you're pretty much safe if you portal for life anyway. But yeah, so I don't know which he's going to do, but I'm aware he might return. What's going on up this ledge as well? That place looks interesting. Anyway, so we're full capping, and the thing is, if the Mesmer doesn't come through until before I cap this, then there's no point because I've got the buff and I can just leave. So I'm looking at the portal here, and because the animation isn't, you know, open, I figure he hasn't got time. So now I'm relaxed because I'm like, he's got one tick. And then I see it opens anyway. So the Mesmer kind of makes a huge mistake here because he lets me get the buff and then he comes through. So it was Giant Meteor, remember? So as soon as he comes out the portal and goes at me, I go for the Giant Meteor. Now, you can quickness cast these, as we'll see later in the game. And I'm hoping that the meteor will land. I don't know. I know it lands through the full counter, as we learned yesterday. I don't know whether it lands through evades and stuff. So we CC him with the elite. So this was a really powerful elite, okay, because I converted a ton of boons on myself at the same time. So we got good boon spam here. And what I was trying to do is stun him right as the meteor lands. But, I mean, there's a huge delay. He stealthed as the meteor lands, so I don't know whether I've killed him with it. I look at the minimap. I see no death icon. He's very low and trying to port out, and then he successfully does port out. So a waste of a portal for the Mesmer as far as all things are concerned. Now, when I leave, though, I'm going to come out I don't know where his other portal is at the moment, but he can't have had much chance to, when he left the lamp originally, to walk away from the lamp to establish a portal to come back in. So he might be farish away, or he might not be. So I look around, and I see he's right there. So I just use Greatsword 5. You know, it's not a particularly ranged set, but it's got some range capability on there. And, yeah, we kill him. I decide to go for the full kill here, because mid doesn't look good. And they could rush over and res it. This is not a rot opportunity here because my team's struggling. And I don't know whether I want to go in for that either. What I'm considering right now is Spectral Walk. But with my Revenant's position here, I figured, never mind. I guess we'll just take sides. But what I don't want is this guy suiciding. So that's why you see I'm turning around. I'm like, what are we doing? I'd be very strong with him because he's a firebrand support, right? But I don't know whether I want to do 3v2 there. So my Revenant decaps far, and we're in a winning position again. I look back towards their spawn. Who I'm actually looking for there is the Mesmer, to be honest with you, which the timing was ridiculous. Obviously, the Mesmer wouldn't be respawned yet. And I see the Warriors considering pushing far. But from the Warrior's perspective, he sees that I've got someone on node, because my team's capping it, and now he sees me. So the Warrior realizes he's outnumbered, so he turns around, which is the correct play. But then he realizes I'm backing off. I'm trying to play outside of his, like, shield bash range or whatever here. And then he sees that, so then he turns around again. But unfortunately, he's in front of our spawn. So now he's 1v3, essentially. The Mesmer's not interacting with him yet, but that is a thing. The Mesmer's got his own game with the Necro here. So I consider going back towards mid now, seeing that, because I don't want to over-rotate. But then I see that the Necro's there as well, and I'm happy to do a +1 because one of us is a Deadeye, and, you know, that's kind of to be expected. I walk in and instant proc his full counter and feel like a dummy for it. But he tethers me and pulls me closer again, which allows me to keep the gap. The Deadeye finishes him off. And, yeah, we just cleave over the body. And now this is a pretty big over-rotation, to be honest. I got to get back up towards mid because the Rev was pushed off of far when he got that decap earlier that I was looking at. I could have stayed towards far, possibly. I don't know how. Yeah, and the close fight would have been fine. Anyway, so, yeah, we've had a bit of pretty clunky position here on the red team, and it's allowed the blue, in terms of, you know, I should be paired with a firebrand a bit more and stuff, I think, and it's allowed blue to equalize quite significantly here, really, ever since I went to the lamp. So the game's getting a bit better. There's nothing intelligent to talk about there. I just went and blew the guy up. A bit of a nasty over-rotation. So I see that my ally goes down earlier on mid. That's why I leave so quickly. And I can save this because he's in the middle of the stomp. If you actually look at this frame, I've paused that here. This is the end of the stomp here, but I have Spectral Grasp. So I throw the hand out. Oh, no, that's the start of the stomp. Throw the hand out, interrupt. I use my elite here for the stun, but also the stability because I want to stability res this and fast. And we get it all. He chances a headshot, but... Or maybe that was just an auto attack, actually. Because I only got 1 stack of stab from that, I think. Anyway, so yeah, then I get the res. I rotate back, but I see that the Warrior's here again. He's just constantly there. The Warrior's not going for decap or anything. He's just trying to aggress my guy. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the game, remember? I said that the Thief can't do anything here. So I come and pressure the Warrior because that's a losing matchup otherwise. And I'm not too comfortable with this because I say my build's really clunky at the moment. He insta-rampages as well. Not a particularly good idea, I don't think. But, and he also rampages when a Greatsword falls down. So I can just hide in this, which will blind spam, but also corrupt spam and get rid of his stab, which is exactly what happens. He uses the 5 straight into thinking. What he really needs to watch for was the field there. So I also go into Shroud, which corrupted. Like, he had 5 boons, and we just got rid of, like, a ton, and that's because I went in and Spiteful Spirited him. And so then, yeah, I'm against Rampage, which means he's very tanky. But I just keep doing the damage because I have a ton of Shroud, and he just insta-dies. So that's fine. I even, I can't use the stab from my shield there, so I just cleave him down. I drain all my Shroud with that, which isn't very good. I should have dipped out of Shroud at the last second so that the kill life force would have, you know, infused me. And I could have gone into this next engagement quite healthy. This, again, is a consideration for a Spectral Walk here. Because I don't know whether we can save this or not. I don't go for it. I drop the Well, and then I drop the Blind and Corrupt, which will cover us for a res. But this is really tricky right now. Because we've also got kills available. So I'm at a crossroads. Do I res and go for complete gold? Or do I let my guy die? And then as soon as he's defeated, we can kill these, you know? This is really tricky. The play I go for in the end is I cleave. He's at the last tick of health. Then I go for the res, but then he dies, and then I go back to cleaving. And then I realize I'm in a lot of danger, so I Spectral Walk on the nodes and pull away and heal up with Consume Conditions. I see that they score a kill, so I port back in. And I cleave over this. Me and the Rev kill that Necro there as well. So this isn't very good. yeah. So here I got jumped by the Mesmer again. If you remember, the Mesmer was chasing me when I Spectral walked out. So the Mesmer comes back in and hits me really hard. And we just got the lamp. And I noticed in the fight we got the lamp. So I use my special action instantly. I don't even know what this is. Even in post-commentary, I don't know what this is. But I'm just throwing it because I'm like, I can do something. My other choice actually is potentially to go back to Greatsword. You might say, oh, the 4 isn't available. But as you run the Greatsword trait, you'll notice I'm getting a lot of Nightfalls in this game. I love the Greatsword trait just for dropping Nightfall cooldowns because it's just such an obscene skill. It's like really one of the only justifications for the entire kit, in my opinion. So maybe I could have done that and that might have helped me a bit. But I'm going for the special action and in the middle of the cast I die. So that's a shame. Luckily we are a Necro and our auto and downstate's pretty good. So I just immediately start channeling my attacks on the Firebrand. Which does play into Confusion extremely hard, by the way, which I will have had because of the Mirage. Well, maybe not. The Mirage bursts me with Confusion, then I go down, which cleanses it all, so maybe I didn't have much in downstate there. Anyway, so, yeah, we get the rally, but they also get a rally. Not sure how or why. Maybe my Mesmer forgot to attack and rally there. But the Scourge is obviously super low. He's in the middle of a heal, which is going to give him barrier at the same time, but I have Shrouds, so we Shroud up, kill all the barrier. Here I get feared away in my 2, which is a real shame. So here I'm super low. I Spectral Grasp, and that's just for the CC there. Now I've got a choice. Well, Elite, and then in a second I'll heal. I go for the Elite, because the Well will roll cleanses over time, right? And it will buff me as it does it, right? But it will roll it over time, while the Elite will CC and insta-cleanse all of it. And flip it. So, but the Elite has a bigger cast time. So I don't know which was the correct play here. But I go for the Elite. And I die right before it finishes. Never mind. We got the Scourge earlier. So we can clear that down. Now I go for the Well. Plus the Consume Conditions. Now we've got all the cleanse we could ever want. The Mirage was dead anyway. To retail, funnily enough. And I'm getting the support from the Firebrand. So that's nice. My Deadeye's low again. The Deadeye's been in a tricky position where he's been the only one capable and intelligent enough to rotate back fast enough. But he's been... that's been putting him in ugly matchups. So yeah, we interrupt the Shield 4, the Shield 5 with our Warhorn, which is unblockable. Long days. Then the Warrior comes up and kites here, which I didn't know about. You know, this is one of my earliest games on this map. This is cool. So I'm like, oh, how hard is that? I come up, but he very smartly CCs me as I'm on my way up. So I create a tether, a Spectral Walk at the top of the crates there, bait him back down the crates, and then as soon as he commits here, I jump back up. We do outnumber him, right? So if I just try and take that fight, it looked like my Rev wasn't going to get off the node, and that could have been really embarrassing. You know, I could have gone down, and then the Warrior might have had enough CC to deal with the Rev too. So now I just come up here, and I hold my axe stuff. I know that the Warrior is going to start kiting, because it will now click for him. Here I continue the chase, because I know I have Spectral Grasp up. So we cancel cut. You'll notice I was in the middle of the skill 5, the Executioner's Scythe or whatever. But I just ignore that because it's irrelevant. I want the Spectral Grasps. We land it. The Rev ports in the middle of the pull as well and kills him with the initial impact of it. And yeah, now the Warrior's dead off node. That we definitely don't need to cleave that out. So I just put some blinds on it and leave. The blinds probably do a bit too much damage to bodies. That's me thinking it like a fresh air really dropping a swirl on it or whatever. So here I got a PP Thief. And this is really bad because I don't know where I can go to line of sight. I don't think this is like Forest where you can go under those and stuff. So I'm caught in open field against him. And my GS5, which was my only save there, was ever so slightly out of range. So I go to Axe and, you know, I've got a range set there, but... if I was on Staff, like I said at the start of this video, one of the things with Staff is I could have weakened him with the 3 straight into the 4 or something, and that might have saved me. But yeah, just caught with my pants down in a pretty bad place. So he shadow steps here to stop my fear, which is cool, I guess. But at the same time, I think that it was probably I don't know. It was fine. My Rev was not rotating in to save me. Basically, you notice my Rev just wandered off in the other direction. He wasn't looking over here. So, yeah, a bit of a shame. The warrior vengeance as well back there. I don't know why I walked onto the node. So now we come on respawn. And we're looking at mids. I've been talking a lot this game, so let's just keep playing it through now. Giant meteor's going to come up. So here what I'm noticing... so here I'm looking at my kills and deaths, wondering how I've been doing. And I think it's okay, 15-1. So giant meteor's coming up. And what I want is to get into the lamp. But I realize there is no entrance to the lamp around the front. It is quite deliberately, you got to walk around the side. So the devs doing this with the map design really kind of... I think disincentivize... So this is why I'm walking this way, because I'm like, I want to get the meteor. But then I realize I can't, and then I realize the vengeance warrior's here as well. So, he balls rushes me, but I've jumped over the ledge, so his 100 blades does nothing. I get Chaos Storm assistance, which is nice. I drop Nightfall. He uses his shields. That shield bash landed, and I really don't feel like it should have. So he's Rampage. We counter with our Shroud, and we just kill him because he's running into our respawns. It's kind of tricky as a far point pusher on this game, I think, because you do have to go right under the enemy's nose. How many times has he been caught? Every time he pushes here. Just because people respawn on top of you. And it's like, maybe it's, I don't know, it's interesting, actually. I like that about this map. I don't really experience that on any other map. Maybe Spirit Watch, because it's got the similar thing where both teams start at the bottom. But so here I think is the moment, right? As far as the map mechanic is concerned and how good it is, I could go for Giant Meteor right now, but the map, the geometry has led me towards mid, and mid is hot, and I think nearly always the smart play is to swing the team fight, right? Maybe? I don't know. Let's think about it in terms of Skyhammer, because there's a similar situation there. The hammer entrance is quite often quite close to mid. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Hammer is an interesting thing to compare this map to, for me. Anyway, so, yeah, we come in, we've got a kill, so we're just doing as much pressure over the body as possible. This is what Reaper is for, really. And we do get a lot of damage. If you look to the side here, the Mirage has been hit really hard. If you look at my boons, this is not just Firebrand support, this is Lyssa runes did this for me here. So that's nice. We drop another Nightfall. Not really sure what else to call out. Oh, okay, so here I notice I've been marked and I've been attacked by the PP Thief. So I'm coming behind, I'm coming away from my support for a second and hiding behind the tree because I don't want to just get shot. Potentially I could stay with the guy. If he's smart, he might, you know, hold a shield 5, drop his tome F3 if it's available. Instead, he's looking at the body while my friend is now being the one that's getting attacked with the PP Thief. So I move towards him now. We use the axe ability to hit through him. He can't really utilize his support very well. So he's Shadow Stepped away, and I know that Shadow Step is there. So what I'm going to do is create my Spectral Walk here, right? So that when he Shadow... No matter what happens as I chase now, if he comes back, I come back, okay? I also go for Spectral Grasp and go for the pull. I get him in the middle of the hill with it, which makes him Shadow Step instantly. And then I, like, dunk myself here. I go into Shroud to pressure on the CC. But that disables... What I wanted to do was press Special Walk now. And I'm like, oh, wait, you can't in Shroud. Damn. So it's now useless because I had the gap closed in Shroud anyway. And now Spectral Walk doesn't help me. Look, it was a pro play, guys. It was many IQ. So anyway, I see that he's coming back. Now, let's talk about score. The game's actually getting really exciting now. Unfortunately, a lot of the crucial rotations and stuff I don't think you've seen from my perspective. But it's close. We've got this double cap. We hold this double cap, we win the game, okay? We got 2. There's only 1 point difference in the actual scores of the teams. So it's really important I stop this decap. If he lands this decap and we lose the next big engagement, not that I think I've seen us lose any big engagements yet, maybe one, that could be it for the game, you know? They could just use that momentum to win, you know? So it's really important I stop this decap. So we come over, Greatsword 5. I don't know, did this get nerfed or something? I feel like my my entire like muscle memory for how far away that works is off, at least in this game. Anyway, so I get on the node, forcing him to instantly leave. So I follow him straight away. Then I realize I might have made a mistake, so I come back towards it. Then I realize I haven't been watching my minimap, and this guy's here, so all around fairly bad. But then, he's still here. This guy had to flee hard, but he's still here. So I swapped to my axe and I just pressure. And what I think's happened here is he's out of initiative. And Infiltrator's arrow isn't helping. I see him cast another one here. I think he gets no valid pathed or something. He gets screwed by something there. And he dies for it. This is a really important kill because that's 5 points and a continued... Well, okay. This kill would be 5 points, which is excellent. Obviously gives us a tiny bit more cushion. But also, in theory, this is continuing the stagger, allowing us to hold our 2-cap because they're 4v5. Now, what's happened, though, is our Mirage pushed far and died, which was a terrible idea at this point in the game. As I mentioned a second ago, we only needed the 2-cap. But he pushed far and died, so this is still an important kill because this equalizes, right? We are 4v5, and now by securing this, we are 4v4 until the respawns start coming into play. And ours is due quicker than theirs because we can rot this. So this is kind of like winning the game there, really. I noticed that this guy's pushing. I get a ton of free damage on him. He ports. I get an 8k there, but I think that was just on a clone. Yeah, he's leaving over here. And we're getting to a point now where I realize all we have to do is win mids. And the enemy team is staggered. They're not making any decent pushes. This warrior couldn't even push fire anymore because somebody else did. And we've been decapped, and that looks really bad because it's 1 for 1, right? But as long as we keep getting kills... I mean, it's really scary, the points, actually. I'm not going to claim to have known the maths in the moment. But that's another 10 points for those 2 kills there. I decide that I want to rotate back. I think I'm speaking a little bit too quick. So, yeah, hey, you see my Mirage who died on fire? He's going to go decap again now. So, with this plus 1, we can take this and hopefully win the game. So, but we kind of do need it. I don't know how the maths works out. I think we do win as long as nobody dies here. Then I realize it's a 2v2 and I'm a bit concerned. So I port back. There's no point in me just standing here getting hammered by the Mirage, right? While he's got support. We'll wait for one of them to push forwards and catch them when they're on their own. Which is what this Mirage is now doing. And now we get the decap on far. And as soon as the decap on far goes through, we're back at a point where as long as everything stays the same, we win the game. Because every second now, our cushion becomes more valuable. If that all makes sense. And I know I don't need to go for the firebrand. We just need to defend mid. So we just chase this guy who's already blown stuff. And it's just all about turtling this hard now. And that's the win there. So, yeah, learn a little bit more about the map. A new jumping thing. And maybe a little bit more about the mechanic. Like... I think a good secondary mechanic becomes more valuable the game goes along, but there's no way I'd ever go to the lamp at this point, right? Who would ever go to the lamp at this point? Hammer's really exciting because at this point, if a hammer's up, you could neutralize across the board and actually, you know, save the day or something. I don't know. Anyway, so there you go. We get 2 top stats, kills and damage. Damage being what I would expect to get. I noticed here in the voice acting, by the way, you guys can't hear it in the video. We had some kind of weird audio bug on episode 1, and I don't know why, and I'm sorry for that. But I noticed she actually says easy, which is great. So yeah, anyway, we did 27% of the team, and it was an alright game. So there you go, guys. Game of the day. See you tomorrow.